Norm, the news reporter from Nebraska. Dad, why do you listen to the news so much? To keep up with what's going on, son. It's also part of my job as a news reporter. I see you sometimes on TV reading some stories. Where do you come up with these stories, Dad? I don't come up with the stories, son. I am not writing a novel. These are real-life stories that I need to report to the community. Journalists play a very important role. People need to know what is going on, and why, so they can make better decisions. What are the latest stories you are working on, Dad? You spend a lot of time using your computer, right? Yes, Dad. I use it for doing my homework, playing games, and connecting with my friends. You are not alone in doing that, son. Many kids your age are doing the same. Some parents are concerned about how that affects their kids. So I need to research this story and write a report about it. But I like using the computer, Dad. I also read books, and listen to books on it, watch videos, not just play games. I learn a lot from using the computer. Totally understand, son. It is important to look at something from all sides. We don't just consider the good sides, or the sides we like. You listed all the good things you like about using the computer, but how about its effect on your eyes? How does it affect your developing brain? When you meet people in real life, do you interact with them like you do online? I don't know, Dad. How can I know if using the computer too much affects my brain? Is there a camera that goes through my nose up my brains to see what is going on? Haha. There are special imaging cameras that can see what the brain is doing when someone is doing something, like reading or watching a video, but not through a camera up the nose. Don't put anything up your nose, son, it is not safe. Ok, Dad. So, I have to investigate a story like this one and report the latest research to the community so parents would know more about it and decide how many hours their children should use a computer during a day. The interesting thing is times have changed. What changed, Dad? When I was your age, we had to go to work in offices and meet different people. We had to interact with others, then drive back home. Today's technology allows us to work from anywhere. We don't have to be in the office anymore. I don't have to pass anyone in the office hallway because I don't use hallways anymore. If a meeting is needed, we just hop to our computers, do the meeting, and log off. Our personal interactions are much less now, and probably will be that way in the future. Also, some companies are making technologies to put us inside the internet, not just surfing or browsing it. Inside the internet, Dad? Do we go in through the screen? Not through the screen, but using a headset or device that creates a virtual representation of us. So, there will be a virtual Norm online that can look anything you want and can go anywhere on Earth or in space. Anywhere, Dad? Even on Mars? Even on Mars or any planet, son. But before you go to space, why not explore Earth first in that virtual world? You can visit other places and countries from the living room. You can see and interact with other people from other cultures and languages, buy souvenirs from a shop in a different country and get it shipped to you. How will I speak with other people who don't speak English, Dad? We can already do that, son. The system will translate what you say, and what they say, so you don't need to learn a new language anymore. Other people in that virtual world will be walking down a street and you would interact with them. You can go on a hike to the highest mountain, or the lowest point in an ocean, visit the desert and the rivers, swim with sharks and whales, or walk with dinosaurs. When you are bored from Earth, you can look to space. You can ride on a rocket from the outside and see yourself shooting up into space. You can walk on the moon and Mars and go right into the heart of our galaxy. You make your own spaceship or ride with others. You can have a battle with another group in space in a game-like setting. After you are done with all that, you can go visit Grandma and check on her. You know how much she loves to see you. All that while you are sitting on the couch in the living room. That sounds amazing, Dad. I don't see anything bad with all of what you said. Notice what I said, son. I said while you were sitting on the couch. Sitting for a long time is not very healthy. You can stand and move around, but is that healthy enough? How will that affect our relationships as a family? We don't know yet because we don't have these worlds available for us in that way, but that is what some are promising the future will look like. I think if I can visit Grandma who lives 3,000 miles away every day, she will be very happy, and I will be too, Dad. She also can help me with homework, she used to be a teacher. There you go, son. There might be a lot of good from what is yet to come, but we must look at all sides of the story. I watch the news sometimes, Dad. I don't really understand what is going on. I don't blame you, son. In many cases stories are not told from the absolute beginning. News companies assume that people know the history of what happened, and they just report the latest. That does not help someone who is trying to understand what is going on. Sometimes I see people on TV protesting and carrying signs, walking down the street. Why are they upset, Dad? Because they think their demands are not answered or not met. Some people are not paid fairly, or not enough for the work they do, so they protest and make their voices heard. We report about their struggles and carry their story to the community. When the community knows what's going on, they can pressure the company that is not fair into treating its workers fairly. How does the community do that, Dad? They can stop buying the company's products. The company will lose money, so managers might change things and decide to pay their workers fairly. But why isn't the company paying fairly or enough in the first place, Dad? Because companies want to make as much profit as possible, son. They sell products and get money in return. They pay a lot of expenses, and paying workers is part of those expenses, so they pay workers less to reduce those expenses. But aren't people equal, Dad? Shouldn't everyone be paid the same? Yes, son. People who do the same work for the same amount of time should be paid the same. However, not everyone is doing the same thing. Everyone is paid according to their contribution and abilities. If someone can carry 10 pounds of flour, and another can carry 100 pounds of flour, the person who can carry more will be paid more. But again, son, people who do the same work should be paid equally. I understand, Dad. Not everyone in my class gets an A. The students who study more than others and do better on exams get higher grades. Exactly, son. As reporters, we make sure we report on stories like kids using computers, and workers protesting work conditions in a fair and balanced way. What do you mean, Dad? Every story has two or more sides, son. Some people like zoos and think they are a great way to teach people about animals and the importance of conservation and making sure animals don't go extinct. Others think we are taking these animals from their natural habitat and putting them in small cages or small spaces for people to see. Polar bears roam a big area in the Arctic, and they live in cold weather year-round. When they are brought to a zoo that is very far away from their natural habitat and the temperature in summer rises so high, the bears suffer. So, these are two sides of a story about zoo animals that we have to report, and usually people have different opinions about it. What other stories do you write about, Dad? Whatever interests the community, son. People are interested in money, so we talk about taxes and wages. They are also interested in health, security, technology, politics, following the news of famous people and a lot of other topics. Are there two sides to each of these topics, Dad? Absolutely, son. We talked about technology and the coming developments. Some people like what is coming, and others have concerns about privacy and security. Some people like to follow the news of famous people, however famous people are people who like to live a normal life and enjoy the privacy others have. There are always two or more sides to any story, son. Norm learned a lot from his dad about what journalists do and thought about it for the rest of the day. That evening Norm had a dream. He woke his dad up in the morning to tell him what he saw. Good morning, Dad. I had a dream last night. Good morning, son. What did you see in your dream? I was a reporter on TV, and I was reading a story about our school food. Some liked the pizza and the fries we have every other day, others wanted healthier options. There were two sides to this story, Dad. Some parents cared and voiced their concern, others did not. They were okay with the current menu. I also reported about computer use in classrooms. Some parents want more computer use, others want to use books because computers can distract their children. They could not agree on what to do for everyone. That's the norm. People usually have different opinions about everything, and we just report that. I hope you grow up to become a successful reporter one day. I hope so too, Dad. I can't wait.